G'day.
Nice to be with you today for our daily reflection taken from the YouVersion Bible app verse of the day. And today it's Paul.
My turn.
Paul, Colossians 3.
23. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human masters. And spoken to slaves in that context, but really you can take it generally for all of us working for someone else, doing what we do with all our heart and doing it as if for the Lord. Really important point, particularly in our world today where there is temptations to maybe rip off the government with tax or take a pencil or two from work or, not
easily done.
Yeah. And sometimes it's appropriate because they say take them and that's good to take them then. We do. We've got plenty of spare pens around the house.
Yeah, from promotional pens. That's a
that's
bit
right.
different, isn't it? Yeah.
But yes, I wasn't suggesting we were stealing them, but it is good to recognise that whatever we're doing, no matter what the moment, we can do it as if God was watching, or we're doing it for God. There shouldn't be a separation between, this is my work, this is, we would say, secular work, and this is God's and a different set of values. This is suggesting there's a same set of values in both.
Yeah. I remember finding this verse for the first time when I was at my first job as a teenager, working as a checkout chick at a supermarket.
Really?
And so that was...
you was a checkout chick. I wonder if people can imagine that.
Yeah.
Were you a good one?
Yeah. Of course I was a good
This was the day before you could just scan.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you had to punch all the numbers in. Yeah.
Had to remember the specials.
Yep. That's right, all that. But the idea that what I was doing and working for my boss at the supermarket was something that I was actually giving honour to God for, and therefore working hard and being conscientious and doing the right thing and looking after people and being hospitable, I suppose, was something that was really quite formational for me in that job, and something I've taken on to every other job since then too. So it's been quite informative and formative verse for me.
So not just didn't involve pens?
No.
What were some of the things you thought it involved?
Well, it involved things like turning up to work on time. It involved submitting to the authority of the boss. It meant being polite and conscientious. I mean, all these things were things I would do anyway.
So you were a smiley checkout chick, were you?
Well, it depended on the day on that one. I remember there was one lady who would come in every Saturday morning with her daughter, and she one day was in a fumey sort of mood, and no one actually wanted to serve her because she was storming around the shop. We all knew her. And I decided that if she came through my checkout, I would try and make her smile by the end of it. And I did, and I was very pleased with myself. But yeah.
So did she avoid you from then on? Or
no, I don't remember that she did, no. But anyway, it was something that I took pleasure in, looking after people and serving others well. And it wasn't just because I was doing it for the sake of it. It was because I was putting my whole demeanour towards serving God in that moment. And so that was how it came out.
Yeah, this divide that I talked about before between the sacred and the secular is not a really biblical divide nor a godly one. It's one that's come in to the way in which we see the world, really from a Greek understanding of the world. And God's perspective, certainly as we learn from the Bible, is that everything in life sits under God's gaze. God is watching over all of it, and he doesn't make the separations between this is of God and this is not of God. Everything we do is of God, and he calls us to live that way in everything we do. And I think we've endeavoured to do that as best as we can, not to separate our Christian life from the rest of our lives, but to say, no, we have one life, we follow God with that life in whatever we do, and right down to the smallest detail. Certainly for me, it's meant those times where I've been shortchanged or overcharged.
You give money back.
Yeah. Going back to people and said, look, I think you've given me too much change here. And there's often been a moment of wrestle with that. Sometimes I've got further away from the shop than I would have liked and thought, no, I really do need to go back and just be open and honourable and to be honest here. They've made an honest mistake. I'll go back and tell them
Fix
that
it.
they've done and fix it.
Yeah.
I remember one person just looked at me as stunned and said, "You should take it. You should take it," she said. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that.
Which is different from the days when I was a checkout chick, when they would count it down to the very cent, and you might have to make up for it if there was a mistake. It's not quite like that these days.
So I hope that's helpful for you today.
Yeah,
Bye.
good to talk.